All right, guys. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. As far as the injuries are concerned, Brian Allen will be out for this game. Tyler Higbee will be questionable. Traven Howard will be out. Tyan Secchi and Allen Robinson and Matt Skura will all be listed as questionable. Ashawn will be out, and Matthew will be out, and his status is the same, where he's in the protocol. No new updates on him.
Bryce will get the start.
You'll see on Sunday.
Has he been getting the lead share? I mean, the
He
lead
has.
reps this week? Okay.
If in fact he ends up starting, what gives you confidence that he'll be able to perform?
I just think, he's a guy he's got a great way about himself. He's got good composure, good command, good athleticism. I thought, with what he did last week, he did a lot of good things. I thought that was reflected in when he's played in preseason opportunities. And, looking forward to, if that's the case, seeing him do some good things.
What about with John Wolfer? How's he look back in practice?
Yeah, he's been limited this week. Obviously yesterday with some of the wins and then just, trimming the schedule as we did. I'd probably be better equipped to answer that after today's practice.
You're going to play, obviously, whoever's on the schedule, but given what's happening with you guys, and now you're going into play arguably, the best team
Sure.
in the NFL in an environment that's traditionally pretty tough.
Yeah.
What's your kind of message this week to your
Let's go
guys?
compete to the best of our ability. You got tremendous respect. I mean, this is an excellent football team. Like you said, they're arguably as good as anybody in this league, and their record and, their tape speaks for itself. And so tremendous respect for their coaches and their players. They've got excellent schemes in all three phases, excellent coaching and personnel. And so it is a great challenge. But what it is an opportunity for us to go compete. I like the way the guys have prepared this week, like the look in their eye. Those are the things that give you inspiration in spite of, a lot of the things that have not gone according to plan or been ideal. But, all we can do is coach to the best of our ability, pour into these guys, and then let them go play. And I want to see them play fast and free and, own the plan, own the responsibility within the framework of their role, each individual snap, but go cut it loose. And, it's a great op for us.
It hasn't really happened. You haven't really been in this particular position since you've been the head coach.
Sure.
Here, but in your NFL coaching career, have you been in situations with teams that are really struggling and going into play a dominant opponent and you actually play well?
Yeah, I mean, there was situations, I can remember my first year as offensive coordinator, when Jay Gruden was the head coach in Washington. Dallas was one of the top teams in the league, and Colt McCoy ended up starting on Monday Night Football, came away with a big win is what comes to mind. There's been some adverse moments. That's what coaching is. I don't know that I've ever experienced quite anything. Well, I know I've never quite experienced anything like, the amount of moving parts specific to one position and one side of the ball like what's been seen. But, can't do anything about that kind of stuff. But, you don't worry about as much as that as having the right process. And let's go play to the best of our ability and see what the heck happens. And that's kind of the approach that we take.
Sean, do you have a sense on, and I'm specifically asking about Tyler Allen and Matt Skura in terms of how they might be trending?
Yeah, I would say, it's more, positive than it would be negative. I think it's more likely that they'll play than that they wouldn't. But again, I've certainly learned that you never know, especially given this year.
Sorry, maybe I missed it, but David Edwards, what's an update on him?
No updates on him.
And how about Ty? Is he on track to?
He's questionable. I think that could come all the way down to a game time decision. And so, we're going to try to do everything. I know he's going to do everything in his power to be ready, but that will truly probably come down to a game time decision.
And who would be, if he's not available, who?
There's a couple different guys. AJ Acuri's got a chance, to be able to see him. And, you're getting, he's done a good job this week with what he can control. And, yeah, Artis.
Not to be presumptuous with any sort of diagnosis that may or may not exist, but you guys went through a historically long season last year, and even when you guys weren't facing sort of this catastrophic streak of injuries, you had mentioned a lot about some of the things, the mental stuff that wasn't quite there yet within the group. And
You talking about last year?
No, coming into this year.
Yeah.
Beginning of the
Gotcha.
season. Yeah. And so I'm kind of wondering, have you guys had conversations about maybe looking at some of the ways that you come out of a season like that mentally in terms of what burnout might look like and how it might manifest, and those types of like mental medical practices.
100%. Those are things that you think about that stuff all the time. And I think what's important is taking an inventory of the whole trajectory of as soon as that season ends and all the way through when this season ends, and looking at all the things that we can try to do to avoid some of the pitfalls or some of the things that are in our control, to be better equipped to handle whether it be injuries or how we practice or how we activate and utilize the off-season program, the training camp, to being able to be more multiple in some different things. So that's that is something that you think about all the time. Now, with that being said, you want to focus on being present with these guys and making sure that we're doing everything in our power to compete to the best of our ability, not lose sight of some of our processes and our standards. And I think in some instances you can let a lot of the different things that have gone on get in the way of that. And that's where sometimes it's good for you to be able to reset. And I'm talking to myself, and not lose sight of that in spite of, man, it has been challenging and frustrating in a lot of instances, but how do you use these opportunities to truly learn from them and grow? And I think that'll be something that once this season does end, you are really able to take a step back, use the entire inventory of information that you've gathered to absolutely apply these in a tangible way that can hopefully elicit the desired results, so that these are things that you can avoid and try to say, I never want to go through something like this ever again.
Sean, what do you remember most from that shootout in 2018 at the Coliseum?
There's so many different things as it relates to just the game and the way it unfolded, and so many great players on both sides, a lot of great examples of two high caliber teams going at it. But what I think I remember the most about it, and what was the most special about it, is that game was supposed to be in Mexico City and ends up getting moved back to the Coliseum on Monday Night Football. And there was a lot of real adversity that had gone on in the LA community, whether it be some of the fires and things that occurred, or there was a shooting, close by. And it was a powerful display of what sports can do when you bring great people together, working towards a common goal, and then they use that platform to really try to help others, heal and grieve and different things like that. And I can remember, Jared and Andrew with some of the families that were affected right after the game, and being with them. And it doesn't take away the pain, but it gives you a temporary moment of relief, and seeing, people come together. That to me is one of the things that you love about sports, is it does present those opportunities to try to just be able to, get a break and see, so many people working towards a common goal, and the emotions that it elicits in a positive way. And and then it's great people using that platform the right way, like our players have consistently done since I've been here, and really long before I got here. Okay? Anything else?
Just quickly, yeah, on sort of that note too, when you guys are going through a time like this, and obviously it's not comparable to what those families faced and all that, but when you guys are going through a time like this, especially with some of your core players out, can you point to one or two people who are working and trying to keep that locker room together, and who are you've noticed their efforts in doing so?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys. I've been so pleased with just the consistency. I've been so impressed, just being around him. There's so many guys that have been here, Jordan, but as you continue to get to know Bobby Wagner, you see his consistency and his steadiness and the influence that he has. Aaron's work ethic, the way that Jalen positively tries to push these guys. When you just look at the defensive side of the ball, there's so many guys on special teams. Offensively, Rob's ability to try to just be able to positively push that group, especially in the midst of it, the adversity. Tyler Higbee's been another guy that I've really been pleased with. And, those guys that we're missing, they've made an impact in their own way, even though they're not able to play when you talk about the Matthews and the Coopers. But it is tough when they're not out there. Okay? Thank you, guys.